Hi, this is Scott from Crafty Critta. In this video, it's going to go through a few of the basics of toner foiling with the machine, the equipment that you need, why you need it, what it does and how it helps you, a few tips and tricks along the way, and then I'll run a few through to give a few examples and a few results, and we'll go from there. So obviously when you're toner foiling with the machine, you've got a few basics that you need. Obviously you need the machine. In our case, we've got the Crafty Critta Best Mate foiling system. There's other machines available on the market. You can use laminators. Basically it relies on heat and pressure. The advantage that these machines have over a standard laminator is that they're heat adjustable, and that gives you a bit more control, and you can set it up to your foil and your paper quality, and you can get more consistent results. The standard laminator being one temperature, you're pretty much stuck with what you got. So you can get varied success. There's some brands of laminators are slightly different temperature. They do work very well, but it's a trial and error. We don't test all of them. We can't test all of them to make recommendations. That's why you'll see everywhere that people recommend a foiling system like our Best Mate system to give you that better result. What you also need is carrier sheets. These are to put your laser printed artwork on, as well as the foil, and run it through so that it holds it all together, puts the right pressure on it, doesn't let it get caught up in the rollers and get munched up in your machine. So it's quite important to have some sort of carrier. So these are designed for use with these machines. They're a plastic folded sleeve basically. You can use paper, so normal copy paper folded in half will work. It's not as thick, so sometimes the pressure may vary a bit, but paper can also be used to work as a carrier. This one here today, I'm using our smaller one. We've got 3 sizes that we make. This one's more designed for smaller products, artwork, your sentiments. Then you've got traditional 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, which comes with most machines. And then we also have a longer series one for larger pieces, slimline card fronts, that type of thing. But today we'll be using this smaller one. I've just got some smaller pieces we'll be putting through. So that's where you need your carrier sheets. Obviously you need foil. So today I've got 3 foils. So I've got our summer stream foil. It's a blue foil. I picked these so we've got a few different colours, and you can see the different effects on the same or similar artwork. So this is F108 summer stream. It's a blue. The embed in this looks like sort of pebbles, I guess, on the bottom of a stream, and gives a very good result. That's one of the ones we'll be using today. Next one, F0039 Sparkle Gold. Fairly self-explanatory. Very, very sparkly and gold one. So this one is really good for when you want to really get some extra impact and punch in your foiling. So it's a very popular foil, that one. And the third one I've chosen today is Silver Scales. So this is a very holographic foil. It picks up the light really well and gives you all the colours of the rainbow. And this one comes with, as you can see there, a small fish scale pattern to it, which gives it a really good effect when it hits the light. It's a really, really nice foil, this one. So toner foils themselves, obviously there's quite a few brands on the market. We of course have our brand. You can buy brands from Amazon, places like that. They're all got the same pretty much technology on the back of them, as far as just being a printed image on the back of a clear plastic film. The real difference comes in 2 main ways. The plastic film itself. The cheaper the foil, generally speaking, the thinner that plastic film is. Now the issue with that is it's quite flimsy. It's easy to put creases into. It's very hard to cut at times. It sort of folds around and flops around a lot. The other thing is that certain brands do put more effort into their printing, a bit more of the ink on the actual film. So you do get a little bit better result that way, but they're fairly even in that perspective. It's mainly about that plastic carrier for the foil and its ability to hold temperature, work well with temperature. The very thin ones will tend to buckle a bit more with temperature and start to shrink and contract and can give you problems. The thicker ones, which is a textile foil, generally speaking, you can run through and not get very many results of too much wrinkling and affecting your image. So that's really what you're paying the difference for. Cheap foils, yes, they work. They're the same principle. Your consistency of results won't be the same. So that's what the difference is in the foil. Today, what I'm going to be using for our demonstration, I've got a couple of our packs of our foil arts, some sentiments, and also our day at the beach pack. This one's always been quite popular. Some sunglasses, waves, snorkeling equipment, bit of kelp looking background. So this is a background type of foil art, and obviously sentiments. You get multiple sheets with different versions, different fonts used, different sizes, some matching sentiments to go with it. And so this will just help show the difference between when you're using it with sentiments and when you're doing a background, so that you can see some different results there. All right, the next thing that you need, and highly recommended, is a brush. Very soft, keep it away from other things. This is the enemy of foiling, is dust and pet hair. So a nice soft brush you can use to clean off, and we'll show that later, that you can clean off the foil, clean off your printed image. Make sure you can remove as much dust and pet hair as possible. You will get specks if there's dust or pet hair in amongst your foiling. So this one is just basically a makeup brush. Main thing is, as long as it's soft, you don't want to be damaging the foil, especially when you've got to dust the back of it, which is what's going to your image. So you don't want to be damaging that. So it must be a nice soft brush. Keep it away from other things. Don't go swooping up glitter with it and things like that and contaminating it. So these things are only cheap. So keep yourself one just for foiling, and then you'll be right. So to start foiling, so with your machine, so you turn your machine on, select your temperature. So we recommend 2 to 3 for our foils and our foil art. Usually you'll find if you start on 3, if you're doing a lot of foiling, you may have to drop it back to 2. It'll gradually heat up further and further. The machine itself completely heats up and ends up a hotter environment in there. So if you're doing a long foiling session, quite often you can have to drop it back to 2. But you do need to experiment with your foils, your art that you're printing. Depending on what printer you have, different toners have different melting points, different adhesion to the paper. So it is a learning curve. We recommend for the textile type foils, 2 to 3 is where you need to be. You should never need to go to 5. It's too hot, you'll start shrinking and wrinkling the backing sheet. So if you think you have to go to 5, there's another issue that you probably need to look at. So the other part we look at with this is that once you get the temperature, you're pretty much right to go. I usually wait until it beeps the temperature before I start preparing, let it maybe run through an extra cycle, get that consistency of heat up. Otherwise you could have issues with your first one, but generally speaking you're pretty right straight away. So now we've got the machine set up ready to go. What you need is your carrier sheet, which in this case using the smaller one. These last for quite a while. They are a bit of a consumable. They will eventually start to get damaged, a bit of toner on them. They'll get a bit messy, warp up a bit, but they do last for quite a while. So you can always get more replacements of those. I'm going to start this first one. We'll run with the blue foil. And let's start with sentiment. So I've got one here I cut out of the pack a bit earlier, save you guys a bit of time. So I just pre-cut this one. It's ready to go. So if you lay down your foil, move that back a bit, give us all a bit more room. People have different ways they like to prepare everything. I like to say light dust off. Again, same with the foil, just to make sure there's no excess dust or pet hairs on there. Now, you always want to make sure that you're covering all of the printed image, because we're reheating it and the toner softens. If you don't cover it, if you have a little bit showing like that, that will transfer onto your folder because it softens up with the heat. So you always need to make sure that you've got your whole image covered. Put it towards the front leading edge. Our machine's ready to go. Just support it a little bit until it takes properly. These smaller ones doesn't take much. There's not much hanging out. You now just let that go through. What you can then do is you can then start your next one. So we've got two, this pack contains 2 of the transfer carriers, so while that one's running through, you can do another one. So I'll do this one, and we'll pick a different foil this time. We'll go with the gold sparkle. So again, brush, light brush, foil, completely covering. That's not that hard to do, obviously, with these sentiment. Once we've got something that's printed to the edge, that's where you've got to be a bit more careful that you do have it covered. Again, through your machine. Support it till it's right taken in. So here's the blue one that's now been passed through. Always let it cool down. It's been out the back there for a little bit, so it's not too bad. Take it out. Once it's cooled down, it doesn't have to be completely cool, but the cooler the better. Just making sure that the toner that you've softened with the heat is now gone back to temperature, which means it's re-hardened. And the gold one's now through. So some people like to, when they get out and it's still pretty hot, some people like to hold in the folder, give it a bit of a shake, get a bit of air around it, speed the process up a little bit. If you're doing quite a lot in a row and you've got a few carrier folders, you don't really need to worry about that because you'll have your next ones running through. You can let it sit for a while. So we'll go back to this first one. So we're definitely cooled down now. We're right to go. Just make sure you always remove your foil in a nice fluid motion. Don't go stopping part way through. That can give you some issues. So just get yourself into a nice position where you can just pull it off in one nice easy go. And there you have it. This foil gives a really nice shine and really stands out. And then you have your waste foil. So don't throw these away. We'll go through in another video. I want to go a bit more in depth. We'll go into waste foiling and using the foil twice and getting the best value out of your foil. Today is just about the basics of getting some foiling done with the machine. So that's the first one. Second one. With the gold sparkle. So you can see the reason I chose this as well. It's the same artwork, but by picking a different coloured foil, you can give it a different look to suit your project, your colour scheme. So make sure you, I guess, consider what the colour of your project's going to be that you're using and what foil's either going to match or complement it or contrast in the way you want it to contrast, and pick the foil to your project. But you can get a very different look just by different colours of foil. So for this next one, we'll go into more of a background. It's been cut down to a small size just to make it easier for this today. It's a full-sized background normally. So same deal again. Pick your foil. With this one, I'll go with the holographic. Back of the foil. Artwork. Completely covered. through again. Now if a little bit of foil hangs out the side like this, that doesn't matter because this doesn't have glue on it. Not like the hot foil that has a glue on it. So this won't do anything by being outside. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything. At least you know you've got your whole image covered. So this is one where it is important you cover it completely because the image goes to the edge and you don't want to be getting. I'll do another one of these. I'll do this one with the blue. Completely covered. That one just shifted a little bit, always just double check yourself. That one just shifted a bit as I was going in with it. So you can see there I need to line that up again. Right, probably covered there. Into the machine. Get this one out of the way. Now that's underway, we'll get this one out of the carrier. For this one to come through. So there's so many different colours, embeds available. At the moment we have 116 different types of foil. So there's definitely plenty to choose from for everybody. Some people like the more classic with their straight plain colours. Some people love really over the top embeds, rainbows, everything goes with it. Nothing's wrong, it's about what suits your project and what you like, of course. This one again, one nice motion. And here we have sunglasses with a holographic. Foil's not always the easiest to catch on camera. It's very reliant on light, and sometimes you'll notice when you're photographing or videoing foil projects they look a bit black. It's just not that easy to get a good photo of it. Again, we've got the negative image of it, so we keep that as well. And this one's had the chance to cool down. So there we have it in the blue. So again, same thing, two different coloured foils give you two different looks about what suits your project the best. We'll do one more here now. This one is a very fine wave pattern. This one looks really good when it foils. It's probably the one where it's a very fine line. So this is the one where you want to make sure that you know your machine. When you go into finer details, make sure you know where your machine sits with what temperature setting you need to be at for your foil, because this is probably one of the harder ones to foil. So let's go with some blue for the waves. I've cut that foil a little narrow. There we go, that's covering it. All covered there. And let's make some. We use this one. This will give it a very subtle look to it. There's not a lot of colour in the base of it, so it'll be a more subtle look for catching the light and not being too over the top or too in your face with colour. started. For a lot of people, the fun part's the reveal, seeing the result. It does give you a bit of a buzz when you get it right, and especially when you get your colour combination right, you get a good foil. Get this one cooling off. Now let's see if this if I can get the light to catch this properly. It's a very subtle look, but it gives it a great shine that really catches that little bit of light just to give the card a bit of a sheen, a bit of bling to it. And it's a really nice background, this one. The other one's out. Let that cool a little bit. You can see that it's foiled well there, the foil's removed from it. So again, we'll keep this one for another day. We'll cover off the waste foiling. Alright, this one's nice and cool. This one, when the light gets it, gives it a nice rainbow holographic. I'm not sure if we're picking that up that well there, but it definitely gives a subtle, nice background to it. So that's the basics of toner foiling with the machine. So a bit of a recap. So obviously you need the machine, you need some carrier sheets, you need your brush for dusting, you need some foil, and you need your toner printed image. And that's really as simple as it gets with toner foiling. There's not that much you need to get started. We'll cover off things like the waste foiling, printing your own at home, all those other options, paper selection, all that in future videos. This one's just about getting started with your machine and getting some decent results, and get you really going down that rabbit hole of the whole foiling craft form in itself. So thanks for watching, and please like and follow Crafty Critta YouTube page, and also our Instagram and Facebook. So thank you very much.